Information, Dr. Marcell Vollmer.
Thank you very much. Excellent introduction. Good morning, Atlanta. Wow. Wonderful. Lenz and Maggie did a great job by really warming you up. It's a great pleasure being here today, especially by knowing that I lived here in Atlanta basically the last 2.5 years, and I couldn't be more excited and more humbled being here and presenting at this great conference. I was so impressed about all the panel, the executives speaking about it, and I want to talk a little bit about that, how we can use the technologies and what is the impact of the technologies for the future. Because a lot of people were scared. We heard this from Philip yesterday, and I want to basically do a job, and hopefully I will accomplish it at the end, that you say, wow, there's really something great also what we can do and how we can influence that. And basically let me start a little bit by showing the big picture, what is changing. And I will make it very brief because I think everybody of you knows it already, what's going on. It is a demographic development, what we see all over in the world. We will be soon 9 billion people. India is supposed this year to take over China as the largest population. And a lot of changes. Europe is getting older and older. As you can hear from my strong accent, I'm a German. I worked since decades on that to get rid of that, but I successfully failed. Sorry for that. And we see a lot of emerging technologies. I will talk about that in a bit, but also the climate change and politics, of course, are impacting. When I lived here, I heard a lot of thoughts about Donald Trump. No worries, I will not go into politics, not at all. But it was interesting seeing also that Germany didn't have government for 6 months. Probably some of you have heard. So really a lot of things are changing right now. Let me talk about the technology a little bit. I love this picture because basically it is showing how we connect now with the machines, with robots, and that we need to find a way also how to define how we want to work in the future and how can we interact. And the speed of the evolution of technology is really impressive. I love Tesla. We have seen a little bit of drop down now on the share price yesterday for some reasons, but basically Elon Musk did really an amazing job by inventing electric cars. And it is not only an electric car what we see. He also was on stage last year and basically presenting the first e-truck, which is possible with 1,000 kilometers, 600 something miles, to have this as a new way of transporting. The surprise was basically also in parallel, they developed a new roadster. That's a small red car what you see in the back. But when we talk about cars and electric mobility, some countries and some people already working on the next technology, flying drones. I was in Dubai and it was so impressive seeing that basically the first passenger transporting drone got successfully tested. That's a Burj Al Arab, a famous hotel in Dubai. So this is really showing a little bit how fast really the technology is changing and also new business models coming up. I picked one example here, 4D printing. Probably all of you have heard already about 3D printing, which is not rocket science, but in the future, it might significantly change also the way how we consume and get products. We are no longer searching for them, looking it up, ordering it. It might be that we just print it. So probably one of the next phones, if a smartphone still will exist, might get printed. And 4D printing basically means that the structure can change. This is an Adidas running shoe, and basically they print it, they customize it for your feet, and basically when you run outside and it starts raining, the structure is closing when it's hot, and some of you might know, it's also called here Hotlanta, so we have really very hot summer. I experienced this 3 times, and really amazing how hot it can be. So therefore, I definitely also would enjoy having a little bit an opening structure that some air gets to your feet. We also see a new way of shopping. That's the Amazon Go shop in Seattle, which is now a concept which is supposed to get rolled out. We don't need basically to pay anymore. The cashier is no longer needed because we can now just go into a shop, use our smartphone, we start an app, we pick whatever we want, we walk out, and basically it gets automatically charged to our Amazon Prime account. And this is really fundamentally changing the way how we will live and also how we will use the technologies. It's also impressive seeing how advanced the technology already is. I've picked another example on the 3D printing technology. I'm really impressed about that, and probably some of you might know when we are flying, and as a chief digital officer, my job is to fly a lot around in the world to meet customers, speak at conferences, and most of the planes already start to have blades printed by 3D printers. And this is really very impressive. This is technology we use already every day. I'm really excited being here in person. You see here avatar of myself. That's basically the new way how we are now investing and inventing the way also how we can have meetings in the future. So this is really something which is impressive, that probably in the future, I love human interactions. I really like the conversations what we have, and also the way how we can interact and really talk about topics. It's so important. We are human beings, we have emotions. I will not say that the future is getting rid of that, but basically also sometimes we can't make it to every meeting, and there might be an opportunity basically to project ourselves and attending a meeting or speaking at a conference. So we don't know how the future really will look and how we work. But a lot of people, when I talk to them, are a little bit concerned about that probably the future will look like that we are surrounded by robots, by machines. I like this picture. I don't want to threaten anyone with that. But basically there are two things. Number one is, it will never look like that. That's for sure. Because the robots and all the automation, what's going on, this is not happening in the way that robots will sit next to you. It is really, really hard to show the way how you interact and how we all interact with machines every day already, because it is basically lights out. It entirely runs in the background, but it's important really to think a little bit about how can we make it happen, that we really find a way and define the future roles also, how we interact with these machines. And it might go faster a little bit than we think. When I look back a little bit, and I have done one research about how long does it really take for technology and how fast are these changes. Because when you see all the technology, a lot of people say, hey, that's really something which might be very far in the future. And when I look at some stats, how long did it take really to reach 50 million users? The phone, it took 75 years. The radio, only half of the time. TV, 13 years. But when you now look on the latest development, Facebook, 4 years, and Pokemon Go, it was 19 days. 19 days to go for 50 million people. So that's really impressive and amazing how fast really also the adoption of new technology can work. It's also interesting when you see a little bit more in a longer perspective and looking back 50 years. I have done a ranking about the market capitalization. IBM, Big Blue, number one, not a big surprise, very powerful, 259 billion. AT&T, of course, on the list. And some of you might remember there was Kodak. And yeah, number 3, market capitalization globally. And very impressive. Look today. And I think all the companies have been changed. Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, there are a couple of them really fighting who will make it first to 1 trillion company from the market capitalization. But isn't it impressive how fast and how impressive the market capitalization grows? With the example of Kodak, I think, and I like the saying that probably we need to Uber yourself, and all of us need to do it, before you get Kodak. And the reason for that is, yeah, sorry if you're from Kodak or don't like it very, very well, but I like this example really to show things can change even if you're very successful. Kodak invented the digital camera. Was 1975. 2012, unfortunately, they couldn't survive, and the business model was not taking off in that way. But we need probably to ask ourselves, so when can we see impact, and when will our industry get Ubered? I work at SAP, so basically technology is really what drives me, and where we also want to ensure that we help our customers to use the technology and also to think a little bit about the use cases. What can you do with all the buzzwords? Artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, robotics. And this is exactly also where we want to help the people to translate this a little bit and also show how this comes down and how we will use it on a daily basis. I believe the future organization will be powered by data. Everybody have heard about big data, predictive analytics. I think the next step might be going to prescriptive guidance. It is not only needed that you get some predictions and that you can do can use some algorithm. It is also needed that you basically tell the people what exactly is it, the prescriptive guidance, what you now can do with the data. For example, I was the chief procurement officer for SAP before. I transformed our procurement organization. It's very important also that you can really forecast what is it really, what it means to invest in cloud, the future technology, what we are doing. We need data for that. But it's not only having the data, it's also telling the people in the team, the buyers in our organization, this is what you need to do, and this is a good time when to buy the next generation of servers, when you expand your data center to really catch up with the demand, which is impressive to see. Let me go one step further, and now how can we use the technology, and also how can we as people make a difference? And I have put a couple of examples where we as SAP believe that we can really provide some more meat on our vision statement, what our CEO Bill McDermott is saying. Help the world run better and improve people's life. This is exactly what we are committed as a company to, and we want to do it also by not only saying it, we want to also show actions. As Chief Digital Officer running SAP Arriba, basically there are a lot of partnerships what we do to help people to get visibility, transparency into the entire supply chain. We need to end slavery in our supply chain. So Justin Dillon, the CEO and founder of Made in a Free World, he made an assessment that on average we have more than 20 slaves working around in the world for us, for the products we consume. This is really very impressive when you see, oh, where do you really get all the ingredients from, and how can you ensure that you have the visibility into your supply chain, that you know exactly what you are buying and from whom you are buying it. We partner now with the United Nations Global Compact to ensure that there are universal principles on human rights applicable, that you can really get the visibility of the companies you work with. The meeting with Rod Robinson, he is the CEO and founder of Connexus. Basically, we discussed it here in Atlanta. I remember we had wonderful sushi and discussed a little bit how can we help and how can we ensure that we bring supplier diversity in our supply chain, that we can really connect to the right companies, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, so that we really can also get the data to connect, that we know, oh wow, there are also probably local suppliers, probably here from that area, from Atlanta, Georgia, or wherever it is, and basically the price point difference might be very, very small, or probably even doesn't exist, but you don't have the data, you don't have the insights to know that, so that you can take an educated decision saying, hey, I want to procure with purpose. And for me, the purpose is to really apply to corporate social responsibility, to focus on sustainability. And the transparency helps you really to go for these educated decisions, what you can do. It's also, and I was in Vegas 3 weeks back, where Florida Mom was on stage, and really it was so impressive listening to her when she was basically telling the story about her son. He's an autist, and basically she's a stay-home mom, and basically nobody was really helping her because he had a disease, her son, but basically it was not that he was not smart or intelligent enough, but basically there were no programs in place to really help and provide the support needed to focus on a young child, helping him to get the education needed to be successful in the future. And this is something where we partner with Step Up, an initiative and organization where we make it easy and help them also to provide the transparency, a platform that people can connect and basically also select, okay, there are people like autists, and we can help them. We can basically also have it very, very simple to donate something. We have the visibility, the transparency, and we can also decide, hey, I want to support here. I want to create some impact. I can tell you it was so amazing. My English is not good enough to really bring the emotions in the same way, but I can tell you people were really having some tears in their eyes, and she got for 5 minutes standing ovations from the audience. This was an audience probably as big as here, 3,200 people, which was amazing seeing and also feeling, wow, we can make a difference by providing the right technology and make it simple for people just to help others and also gives them the transparency and visibility in that. Marcell is the last one what I want to show by also introducing that how do we use the technology. Basically everything runs digital, and when we talk to people, I got a call this morning very early at 5 a.m. I have to say, in the address book I'm listed now as being back in Germany, so therefore it was not so early, but basically a little bit too early now for go for a longer call, especially before a keynote in the morning. But basically, it doesn't matter where I am. I can be at any place in the world. As soon as I have access to my phone, I can call somebody. As soon as I have access to the internet, I can also work wherever I am. And basically, this is exactly what Marcell does, basically providing and outsourcing digital work to unemployed people in the world. You connect them, and basically, you provide an offering that these people can also start working on tasks, and really you have a platform connecting them. Isn't this powerful? I like this example because it's very impressive when you see that people, poor people, getting a chance, getting a job somewhere in Africa, getting connected to the internet and basically working for somebody here in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, wherever they are. So with that, I want to only show you one technical slide. And some of you who might have seen SAPs on stage, and wow, these are the guys with the very complex slide. I can prove this right, yes. We have a little bit more on the technology side. But I'm only showing you this for a second because basically this is exactly also what we do. The technology needs to go in the background. You might not be interested how technology really works. You are interested in the outcomes. And the outcomes, it is very simple. It needs to be Apple easy and Google fast. This is exactly also what we do and how we develop, how we innovate now our software. Some of you might be here and probably a little bit longer in business saying, hey, Marcell, what you are talking about, I work with an SAP system for 10, 20 years. It is so intuitive, so easy to use. Okay, it's not working, this joke this time. Then thank you. And yeah, probably too early for me, or the party yesterday was too good. Sorry for that. But this is exactly, I can tell you, I got lost first time I started back in 2004 at SAP. I needed a 4-digit transaction code to even access the system. I looked up something, a gray-blue screen was popping up, and basically it was so tough to navigate. Yeah, thank you. It seems some had the same experience. It's not thinkable anymore that we do this. And why should it be on the business side more difficult than it is for private purpose to order something? And we we are not only providing the platform, you can start on your smartphone, you can continue on your tablet, you can also do it on your laptop if you like. But basically our purpose is that we connect people, we connect business partners, and we are very proud, and we acquired Arriba. By the way, Arriba headquarters was here in Atlanta, in Alpharetta to be precise, and that's the reason why I moved here. And we have in the meantime 3.2 million suppliers and business partners on that platform to connect them, to provide the transparency that you can do business in a lights-out way, highly automated. And we run 1.6 trillion on commerce on that platform. And this is really something what helps, and where you can also see how you transact and how you can go for a handshake with the machines, with the technology, what you are using. And we are only at the beginning of what is potentially possible. But, and this is my last slide, we can be a driver and not a passenger to really define the digitalization. I like Tesla as an example. You see, I like the company. I have used a couple of pictures of them in my presentation. But basically, it's procurement who can make a difference, but it's also you. It's all of us making a difference by focusing on the products we want to buy, getting the visibility, the transparency. That's where we can help as a software company. But basically, at the end, that we can create impact and really help to run and be successful in the new world order. With that, many thanks for your attention. I hope it was a good kickoff. Have a great conference. Thank you very much. Thank you.